Everyone, we wanted to take a quick moment to thank all the listeners, the viewers, and of course the patrons out there. The team here at Vector Sigma hopes that we can bring a little levity and a distraction from the weight of the real world. Time is always precious, but that has become even more obvious now. We want to say that we really do appreciate everyone out there that's spending their time with us. Welcome back, everyone. We have something special for you. If you notice, there's someone, pointing the wrong way. It's actually that way on my monitor, a special guest. I am, as always, joined by Scott below me. But today, on this new segment that we're calling Vector Sigma Unsleeved, which, now that I say that out loud, sounds a little more provocative than maybe we intended, but it is what it is. Vector Sigma Unsleeved, and we wanted to talk to a number of other people in the Transformers community. And special guest, I don't want to steal your thunder, so would you mind introducing yourself?
Hey guys, it's Rodimus Primal. I am here to talk more Transformers stuff than I don't know what to do.
You do normally?
yeah. That's pretty much what I do all day long. Talk Transformers.
Hey, that seems like the good life, at least from my perspective. That seems like it's good.
Pretty much. I mean, also the fact I got 2 kids, so they're into it too. So we talk about it all day.
That's awesome. Stuff. That's really awesome when that lines up that way. So let me actually pitch it over to Scott, because Scott, you had kind of orchestrated all of this, because I'll be honest with you. When Scott had said, "Hey, we should interview Rodimus Primal," and I said, "Who?" Well, and that's not meant to be insulting. It's just as anybody else, you can't know everything about the fandom. But in prep for this, I went and watched a lot of your stuff. And okay, again, I can admit you got another subscriber. So there you go. Let me kick it to Scott, because, like I said, he got all of this set up. So take it away, Scott.
Yeah, Vince doesn't watch a lot of YouTube, just so you know. We've had this conversation where he's like,
I don't watch anything, basically.
Yeah, he just does his thing. So I actually discovered you when I started playing the card game, because I wanted to find all the information I could in terms of history type stuff. And what I find really intriguing about your stuff is especially the discussions, which parts of the lore are controversial, I guess you could say.
Okay.
So my first question is tell us about your history with Transformers, where did you, and how did you become a content creator for Transformers specifically?
Okay. Well, I mean, I've been a Transformers fan literally since 1984. I saw the commercials, as a kid. And we, of course, ended up buying the toys, and then seeing the cartoon. The first cartoon episode that I watched was I vividly remember was Countdown to Extinction, and it aired in 1984. My first 2 Transformers toys were G1 Bumblebee and Cliffjumper, and then the following year was I ended up getting Grimlock and more Starscream and more Transformers toys on the along the way. And I just fell in love with it. I just fell in love with Transformers and, pretty much everything in the 80s, like G.I. Joe and Voltron and Ninja Turtles and Thundercats and, whatever. And then, of course, my dad being a sci-fi nut, kind of helped fuel that hunger for Transformers and anything else sci-fi, really. And then, of course, I ended up joining message boards, around the time of Beast Wars.
Okay.
And Beast Wars was huge, for a lot of Transformers fans back in the day. And it really reignited my love for Transformers in a way that I never expected. Because, I still loved it. I still had G2 toys and stuff, but, I didn't really get into Beast Wars during the first season. I started getting into Beast Wars in the second season. And then after, I fell in love with Beast Wars from that second season, I started joining message boards. And me being a Rodimus Prime fan, I tried to come up with the moniker of just Rodimus Prime. Okay, well, no one really, no one's going to probably come up with Rodimus Prime or something like that. So, but because Beast Wars was big at the time, I was like, all right, I'll do Rodimus Primal. That works because there's an Optimus Primal. I'll do Rodimus Primal, and that just became like my name when I started joining all these different Transformers message boards and
Seems
arguing
logical.
with fans about anything and everything from who became Cyclonus, what color is Rumble,
Transformers arguments. What are you talking about? Like that's
yeah,
it's
like,
wild.
that's just pretty much like everything, or like the weird continuity flubs that like Beast Wars had. They admitted that they did, and they even like said like, okay, well, this is we understand there's a continuity mess up here. We want to fix it. Unlike G1 where they couldn't go back and fix it, understanding that.
Right.
And then I was just basically part of message boards and went to different conventions, and just basically every single message board I ever joined was already Rodimus Primal. And when YouTube started, of course, you create an account to become like to start commenting on people's stuff. I think around 2006, 2007, somewhere around there. And, watching YouTube videos. And then I said, like, I'm already a graphic designer. And like, that's something that I already went to school for. And I started learning how to do video editing and stuff. And which is kind of pretty much like anybody who's into technology of some sort. You start trying to figure out like what you could do as far as a niche is concerned.
Of course.
Then I started making content videos and trying to like conglomerate as much information as I can, and then of course try to answer these questions that we've all as fans argued about for how many years and generations. And started with who became I actually started doing my video editing with toy reviews, and then I created my Who Became Cyclonus video. That was like literally my first Transformers discussion, which I've actually had to redo like 2 or 3 times. Just
new evidence came to light, or
oh yes, new evidence came to light, and so did so did the fact that like I got better at video editing. And,
that's fair.
You start looking at your old content, and you start hearing like you hear this microphone right here. This is like a Rode, NT. I had like this really cheap microphone that I was recording on, and it sounded terrible. And if you listen to some of my older content. Before, like not the ones that I've redone, but like the some of the older stuff before I got that mic, I sound very tinny and like I'm talking through a potato, and you end up re-recording that stuff, and then making new information. That's why like I end up sometimes I'll redo some of my old videos, is because like I want it to sound good. I still want the information to be there, and that's pretty much where I started doing it, and then it grew. I never expected it to grow, and then it grew.
It's allowed. It's allowed.
Yeah, grammar Nazis or whatever. But like, that's like that's pretty much where it all stemmed from. Is just like making those kind of videos, and then I said, you know what? Let me try and do some more stuff. Let me still make video game reviews. Let me still make let me do like a movie review or a review for this, but everybody wanted more of that Transformers content that I made. So
they are kind of rabid, the fans.
Oh, I mean, you know what it is like if you're gonna make really good videos and stuff like that, and you focus, like you really like catch your niche, like that's the thing. Like Transformers has always been it. Like sure, I want to like make Godzilla movie reviews or Ninja Turtle stuff or G.I. Joe stuff, but like it seems like the Transformers really like is where I mean, it's already enough that like if you right now, if you look at my office right now, like there's just so much Transformers stuff like lying around, like it's nuts. Like it's nuts, and I love it all. I love all this geeky nerdy stuff. Like you don't find that like I don't find any love for sports. So like I don't find love for like my wife likes to watch like some reality TV. I don't really care for that stuff. Like, not try to steer clear of that. Like, and I'm into the nerdy geeky stuff. Like I'll love going to a convention or going to, see, whatever. Like I'd rather see like a superhero movie than a, romantic comedy, so.
Gotcha. Well, then you're in good company here, because that pretty much everything you said is resounding. I do have a love of sports, but specific sports. However, and Scott, I'm sure will back me up on this. Like, you can probably see it but the people at home watching and listening to this aren't going to be able to see the detofs and stuff and many other things that are behind this green screen. So I'm very much in the same boat. Whereas Scott, you're still building your castle of cardboard, correct?
I mean, it's just different facet of the same fandom. That's all.
Exactly.
That's all. My plastic is a lot thinner and cardboardy than and covers the cardboard instead of being in the toy realm. Yeah,
Absolutely.
Probably the only sport that I my friends who have like basketball or football or whatever,
Yeah.
watching the Super Bowl or something. But WWE would be like probably like, but that
That
all came
seems
at the
like a
same
pretty
era.
common one. Yeah. Yeah,
Like that all
absolutely.
came at the
Yeah.
same era, and I of course like Hogan and Macho Man and Rock and Stone Cold and those wrestlers and stuff like that. I mean, I even like watched as recently as a couple years ago, and then the thing is, it's so much to keep up with.
Yeah.
And trying to watch wrestling now, it's like 6, 7, 8 hours a week still of content for wrestling that
Right.
it's too much. It's just
Absolutely.
too much.
Do you, given how engrossed you are in the fandom, as well as other ones, kind of following off of your last statement, do you ever feel that it is too much, or are you still hungry for more Transformers, whatever it happens to be, media form?
I absolutely love it. Like I love. I'll absorb as much Transformers content as I possibly can. Even if I don't care for the particular continuity that they're in.
Gotcha. Well, everybody has their favorites and not so favorites.
Right. A hardcore G1er. Like it's kind of it sounds wrong, but I am like. It's one of those things that like I kind of find like that purity in what was made originally, what was created first.
Yep.
And I think that a lot of times that when they deviate too much from that, a lot of that stuff becomes, I don't want to say this, but like you start feeling how watered down like some of the newer stuff could be. I still enjoy it. Like I'll enjoy the heck out of Bumblebee. The Bumblebee movie.
Gotcha.
I like Cyberverse. I don't love it. The new IDW comics I'm not really like into, and I didn't care for the last couple of years of the IDW continuity. I also like have like the IDW the stuff that was introduced in IDW I didn't care for either. Like I'm a purist, so to me Megatron is Galvatron. To me, they're some of the origins of certain characters just don't like. I don't care for it, but I don't sit there and hate people who enjoy it. Like,
of course,
I don't. Some fans are like that, where they're just like, no, this is like
there's a right way and a wrong way for the fandom.
Yeah, and I don't care if people like say like I love this version. Okay, all right. Like I don't like the fact that Bumblebee is like now associated with being a mute character. Just I don't like it. And some people, their introduction to the character was Michael Bay's Transformers.
Right.
And which we can go on a whole rant about Michael Bay's Transformers.
There's a lot of topics there before we...
But here's the thing. Some people really love Michael Bay's Transformers. Right. Do I hate those people? No, come on. Like it's like we all enjoy giant robots that turn into vehicles.
Right.
It's an outlandish concept. The concept of Autobots versus Decepticons, with the fate of planet Earth hanging in the balance. Like that's at the end of the day Transformers. So go ahead. I'm rambling. It's
definitely. These are the kind of things that we want to hear about. How did people get into the fandom? What keeps you energized in the fandom? Part of the reason why I had asked, do you ever feel full? Like if Transformers was a meal, is because Transformers, we were joking about this on one of our other shows relatively recently, that we were actually, I'm not sure whether this will go up before, I assume after that one, but we had a first-time viewer for the 86 movie. And we were talking about the movie, just what were your impressions? You didn't watch the G1 cartoon, so did you care about this or not care about that? And it was fascinating, what was interesting, what wasn't, what they thought would carry forward. And the joke that I was alluding to was I said to Scott that, we've been at this for literal decades, and it's tough to stay with anything, let alone this particular thing, for that long. So it's cool to hear what got you going and what keeps you going for this.
Yeah, I like the idea that they reboot in some fashion, because they ruin it at a certain point, and then they go, all right, we're done, we're gonna hit the reset button again, and maybe that keeps the franchise going fresh. In some ways, I really want them to go revisit the Sunbow cartoon, you on episode 98, and make an actual episode 99, continue on. So if you want to skip the rebirth, I guess maybe the Headmasters and Master Force and Victory can a continuation, but I really want them to go back to that continuity, because in a lot of ways I don't feel like the Japanese continuity meshes with the same characters the same way.
Yeah, I can see that.
It feels like some of the characters that when Simon Furman took over comic books, and when Simon Furman took over, those characters that Bob Budiansky wrote were different.
Yes. And
they started feeling different as Furman took over. And it's not a negative thing. There's a definite shift in the way the Japanese handled a lot of those characters, and in that continuity. So that was just kind of like, it is what it is. But you look at cartoons like Cyberverse. It only lasted 3 seasons, or Prime lasted 3 seasons, and there's a lot of reasons behind why those shows end up getting canceled.
Right.
But it's interesting that there seems to be this desire to go back to the old and really get back to the foundation of what made Transformers so enjoyable back in 1984. And that to me is what I want to see. Is I want to see that same love for the brand.
Right.
Because in 2007, that wasn't the love for the brand. The love was trying to make explosions and giant cars and trying to get the general audiences involved in Transformers.
To be fair, it generated a lot of money for the brand, which allowed some other things. But I get your point. I get where you're going with it. That the soul of the franchise wasn't what happened in 2007 and the subsequent movies.
Yeah, and I would venture to say in some cases that was also a lot of ways some other series too. A lot of people really loved Prime. I don't feel Prime had that same. It didn't have the same feeling that I think even Transformers Animated had a better grasp of Transformers in some ways than. But then again, Animated felt very meta in some ways. It acknowledged some of the weird zonky things from other Transformer series.
A little fourth wall breaking there.
Yeah, and Unicron Trilogy felt like it was completely out there.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't talk about the Unicron Trilogy, and it's
usually when I hear about it, it's not good. When I hear people talk about it, they're not with smiles on their faces.
Yeah. Well, when the Unicron Trilogy came out, there was this boom for older Transformers fans wanted to introduce G1 to these young kids.
Of course.
Armada was not that. Armada was a hard reboot with a lot of name slapping.
Yes.
To the character of Smokescreen. Right? Smokescreen in Armada is not Smokescreen.
Correct.
That's Grapple.
It's actually interesting because you had mentioned earlier the how you got started in the character identifications and things throughout the movie, obviously talking about the Decepticon transitions and stuff. Do you feel based on what you're saying, I may be putting words in your mouth, so correct me if this is not accurate, with the more modern incarnations, whether it's the movies, the cartoons, the comic books, that the characters kind of feel like a mantle, where it's just this is the title for it, and these are the rough traits for who it is, and then it's just, all right, writer, fill in the blanks?
Like
I said, I may be putting too many words in your mouth, so feel free to correct me.
Yeah, I don't necessarily feel that way. It's more think about this. Who is Spider-Man? Who is Peter Parker? Peter Parker Spider-Man is always going to be Peter Parker Spider-Man. And the writers do have to write around the fact that Peter Parker Spider-Man is Peter Parker Spider-Man. Like, that's who the character is.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when a writer picks up that mantle and starts writing for that character and does something completely out there that does not feel like that character, you don't have Peter Parker Spider-Man anymore. You have someone else's interpretation of what Peter Parker Spider-Man is, because, you know, Stan Lee didn't create that character to be like that. You know, Tony Stark is a completely different character than Peter Parker.
Mm.
So when you look at a character like Starscream, I don't want like, to me, like, Starscream is always going to be trying to usurp Megatron's command, which for the most part throughout the franchise he has.
Right.
There are some series where he hasn't. You know, or he became like an Igor subservient. You know, like, yes, Master Megatron. Like,
right.
that's not Starscream, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Which is why, like, in Armada, I know a lot of people loved that version of Starscream, but to me that didn't feel like Starscream after at a certain point. Like, at a certain point it didn't feel like Starscream, but he started becoming like Starscream again as the Unicron trilogy unfolded.
Gotcha.
That was fine, you know, but when you take a look at a character like the like Transformers Prime Starscream,
Mm-hmm.
and he is very much behaving, not looking like the, you know, Starscream that we were familiar with.
Right.
Then he starts becoming this subservient little twerp in season 3.
Right.
You know, like, I'm like, that's not Starscream. Like, why is Starscream behaving like that? Like, it doesn't feel like the same character. Or Michael Bay's Starscream, or Dorito Gorilla Starscream.
Right. Yeah.
Right?
Starscream. Air quotes.
Yeah. You know, he just is like this little subservient thing, and it's like, but that's not Starscream.
Yes.
You know, like, keep the element of what makes the character that character, and there does need to be some form of conformity in a sense that, like, you want to deviate, you want to update the vehicle mode. Okay, you know, F-15s are not as popular as F-22 Raptors. All right, I'm fine with that.
Gotcha.
What about making the character look and behave like the character is supposed to? Even if you update Optimus into a not a cab over the wheels, cab over the engine style G1, you know, truck, you know, but kind of make him like the long nose, you know, tractor trailer.
Yeah.
You could still have Optimus be Optimus.
Mm-hmm.
You know, my problem with Optimus has been the fact that he hasn't been what Peter Cullen's brother, you know, Larry Cullen, said that Optimus Prime is supposed to be like. You know, in modern takes of Optimus, he's now the Hollywood hero, you know, where give me your face. You know,
that was a wild departure from. Yeah, I could definitely agree with you there. The Optimus. There were a lot of amusing internet theories, and Vangelis from WTF and TFW had a very amusing one about the personality behind that particular Optimus. But yeah, you can't put those two side by side and say those are definitively the same character, I don't think.
No, not at all. And even to some degree, like, I would say that Transformers Prime was almost too stoic.
Mm-hmm.
You know, was almost like just too like, I don't party.
I never use contractions.
Right. Like, whatever happened to, like, Optimus playing basketball? Like, whatever happened to, you know, look, a booby trap that actually catches boobies.
Yep.
You know, like,
it is a meme and a gif for a reason.
Yeah, whatever happened to that Optimus Prime? You know,
right.
Like, there was a little bit of fun in the 80s Prime that I think that a lot of series either go one way too much or the other way too much.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, you know, reading the IDW comics, and when Optimus kills Galvatron, like, it's, you know, I'm here to end you. That's not Optimus.
Right.
Like, and then just delivers his head. I'm like, it's not Optimus.
Right.
You know, like, what did you do? What did you do to Optimus Prime? I'm sorry if I'm complaining too much about
No.
it.
Like I said before, it's good to hear the different perspectives. I mean, for me personally, Transformers Prime, not the character Prime. It's getting confusing trying to clarify. Like that show kind of usurped, ironically enough, G1 for me personally. And then I fell in love with IDW Phase 1. I'll admit I haven't read Phase 2 yet, with the exception of one issue, just because I had bought it offhand. I've been waiting for everything to get collated. But I definitely appreciate the stance of this is the original, this is the creator's intent, I guess, for lack of a better way. Like this is the way it started. And when you had mentioned something earlier that I thought was really interesting, that if they just went back and said, all right, we're gonna make the 99th episode, 100th episode, 101st episode, etc., and go down the line and kind of pick up where they left off, I think that would be a really cool revitalization, I guess, is not really the word I'm looking for, of the original G1, because you're absolutely right that these other incarnations are different, and I happen to like them. You said that you weren't a huge fan of it, but I think there's room to have all of those. Don't get me wrong.
I really liked Prime.
Mm-hmm.
I liked Animated. I'm not saying that I hated it.
Oh, yeah. I don't mean to put words in your mouth there.
That's the other thing is like I'm a Transformers fan. Like I enjoy this stuff going. Like I enjoyed Cyberverse.
Right.
But I enjoy it for different reasons than why I love G1. But there is a thing about G1 that just makes it so much special.
Right. And that's why I think it would be cool to bring it back so that you have these, like, look, you're a new Transformers fan? Pick. You got things, you got options for what you prefer.
Right. How much of this did you take in when it came out versus watching it after the fact? Like all the different series that are out there. Were you like up to date all the time whenever they would come out? You were like right there with it?
Yeah. I mean, I watched Generation 2 when it aired. Like, of course, picking up the comic books at my local comic book shop. This is not your father's Autobot, if you remember. The cover for issue 1.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Or like seeing like G2 Megatron like ripping out the Matrix out of Optimus Prime's chest. I think it was issue 6. Issue 4. Issue 6, I think, is when Starscream like is possessed by the power of the Matrix. I'm trying to remember. I did not like Beast Wars when I first saw it. The first 2 episodes aired, I think, in like the first 2 episodes aired in April. Then the season 1 aired in September, but I did not watch season 1 until season 2 started.
Okay.
Then I liked it, and I went back and watched season 1 because it was also on at like 6:30 in the morning. Robots in Disguise, I was working at Toys R Us at the time.
Okay.
So, of course, I was into Robots in Disguise.
Well,
like I was also like it was just like the toys were right there. Like so, I'm like, dude, there's Optimus, there's Prowl. Like, we watched the cartoon, I got into it. And I think I was still working at Toys R Us when Armada came out. So, and then I stopped working. It was like He-Man got big, and I remember when He-Man was like a big thing when they brought He-Man back. Then I remember like I watched Armada as it came out. I watched them all as they came out. Like literally watched it all, like all the different cartoons as they aired. And I liked things and I disliked things about each one of them. And I could say the same thing about G1. Like I don't hold G1 to like some like perfect standard that like no other there are episodes like Carnage in C minor or BOT. There's bad episodes. And it's not to say that, or Child's Play. There's not to say that like, the show is like perfect, but it's kind of like Star Trek. Like there's 79 episodes and they're not perfect, and but there's something for everybody in all those those episodes that came out. Like 98 episodes of the cartoon and plus a movie that was released theatrical, and I saw the movie in theaters.
Yeah, same.
I saw the 1986 movie in theaters, and I remember being so wowed by it, and I loved Rodimus Prime, which really
you don't say.
Yeah, you don't say. Like I've spent 30 something years defending the guy. You know,
that it must have been a tough hill at different points, because I would imagine as all these onboarding points in the fandom, as these other shows, the movies, other media came out, that, oh, I remember Transformers, man, everybody hates Rodimus, right? And then you had to be the guy who'd stand up for him. Is that how it kind of worked out every time, or did you rally other people to your cause over time?
well, a lot of people admitted that they liked Rodimus. No, believe it or not.
Okay.
There are a lot of people that say that they like the character. They like the fact that he's not perfect.
Right.
You know, you like Optimus because he is the guy you put on the pedestal.
Right.
Like Rodimus because you're Rodimus. You know what I mean? You're living life, you have flaws, you're looking at, like, you know, things, and you know, your mistakes could come back and haunt you, but then there's, you know, but the thing is that you do have the potential to become a great leader.
Right.
You know, all of those things are there, and that's why I like the character so much, is because he's a flawed character that has to overcome, you know, all of his missteps. And no matter how much he self-doubts, people
he perseveres.
yeah, exactly. Like, not just the Matrix Cup, I'm missing part of myself. Like that's like such a great lot to me. That's like the closing of season 3. The return of Optimus Prime is the beginning of season 4 in my eyes. So, like,
I can see that.
you know,
Yeah.
because I think that there were supposed to be 30 episodes, not including the return of Optimus Prime. Like, Dark Awakening was supposed to be like, that was like, Optimus Prime is gone.
Right.
And there was supposed to be like at least 2 more episodes that probably got scrapped, because they had to make room for Prime's return, because it was a mandate to bring him back. And I think they brought him back too early because the toy wasn't even out yet.
Yeah, the Power Master toy was not. Yeah,
Right.
Power Master Optimus Prime. So, you know, and they've never really truly killed Optimus Prime again, even though he's died like 29 times. Like, come back 3 episodes later. They don't keep him gone long enough.
Right. Even my wife finds it an amusing meme of how frequently he dies, allegedly. Every time we turn, every time we turn something new on, she just asks me when we sit down to watch. All right, how many episodes before Prime eats it, and then how many episodes till he comes back? That's the running, you know, the running bet as we watch other media, but.
I want to see a show where they start off with Optimus is already gone, and you know, not just Robots in Disguise where they sit in a junkyard and do nothing. Red 2015 specifically, right? Like that show, they sat around, they did nothing. You know, for 26 episodes, they did nothing but like catch the villain of the week,
right?
And put him in a box, and then some of them escape. You know, like there's no like big, you know, Decepticon leader, because the big Decepticon leader is like half Unicron now, so
that could be problematic. Yes.
yeah. So like, but then they killed Unicron again because Fallen came, and they couldn't even call him the Fallen. They had to call him Megatronus. It's weird, you know. And I remember when the Fallen was brand new, and it was like, he's so cool because he's on fire.
Yes, there is a pretty iconic image. As soon as you said it, I could picture it in my mind.
Yeah, like, he's cool because he's on fire. And I think at the time, if you were in the early 2000s, everything had to be dark and gritty, and you know,
well, I mean, you got to keep up with the times, right?
right. So, and now everything is trying to make everything happy because the world's in turmoil. So.
Could do with a bright spot.
Yeah. So, like, I mean, you look at Cyberverse, and it literally feels like it's very bright and cheerful and colorful, and you know, and they're trying to do that with the characters, and I'm cool with that. Like there are some characters I was like, why'd you do that? Like, but I was really annoyed they killed Slipstream. I don't know if you saw Cyberverse season 2, but
I haven't seen season 2. No.
Spoiler alert.
Sorry.
That's all right. It's okay. We would have got there eventually. So.
It's okay.
Yeah, because they're on season 3 now, and it's all on YouTube. You can literally watch it. And season 3, I'm enjoying it so far. I have not seen the entire Quintesson arc yet, so I'm looking forward to seeing how that
jury's
turns
still
out.
out there. Yeah.
Yeah. So, like, The first 4 episodes of season 3 of Cyberverse feel like the ending to season 2.
They just couldn't squeeze it in.
Season 2 just abruptly ends, like, with, okay, we're here, and the last 4, it's like a 4-part episodes. So, but they're 10 minutes long, so it's really 2 episodes.
Right, exactly.
Is really the ending to season 2. And if you ended the show at that 4th episode, you could have ended the show there, but they didn't. It literally feels like an ending.
Interesting.
I have not seen the rest of season 3 yet, like much of it. I've seen I think a couple episodes in. I need to actually sit down and watch it because I do a review for it. So
right. Yeah. Got to keep the content rolling, right?
Well, the thing is there's so much to do. Like I'm trying to write a script while today I had to fix a sink, like I said. So
yeah,
you have to take care of real life stuff in addition to trying making content on YouTube.
Of course.
So,
unfortunately, it can't be Transformers all the time, right?
Right. Yeah, and of course, I'll watch other stuff. Like I'm finally sitting down and watching The Mandalorian.
It took me a long time too.
Yeah, because I didn't want to see anything Star Wars at all after The Last Jedi. Star Wars was dead to me. Dead. And I'm enjoying The Mandalorian because it's a cool side story.
Right.
I've 4 episodes in. Yeah, I think I'm like 4
It took a while
in.
to grow on me. I didn't dislike it initially. It was just all right, it's kind of there. And then before I knew it, both my wife and I are all right, neither of us can watch it until the 2 of us are together. And then we'll watch it together. It kind of snuck up on us where it was... I mean, she loved Firefly, so it was kind of like a natural transition given the structure of the 2. I liked Firefly, but I wasn't super into it. And it felt very much in the beginning of The Mandalorian for me as well. I know we're getting way off topic now, but it's
fine.
It has definitely grown on me, and now I'm actively looking forward to season 2. Whereas at the first few episodes, I said, I'll take it or leave it kind of thing. It's fine.
What do you think?
I loved it. I watched it every week as it came out, so I was a big fan. I mean, I can't stand any of the last 3 movies, so to me, it was a very very positive departure for me back to
the Disney trilogy. Like I said, it's still the wound is still there.
Oh yeah,
it's still there. I'm having a hard time. I'm trying to see past it and trying to enjoy The Mandalorian for what it is.
Yeah,
and but every inkling of it, I'm reminded of still.
Yeah, it's.
I was able to forgive a lot in The Force Awakens, but then when The Last Jedi came out, I was I'm done. And I made it my purpose not to see theatrically any other Star Wars movie ever after that. So
you didn't miss much. You're good to go.
Dedicated.
I know you're on a Transformers. I know we're on a Transformers.
Hey, it's allowed.
It's all good.
Yeah. So.
Well, like you said before, it's kind of a very wide array of geeky related stuff, so it definitely fits.
I watched that, and I watched Stranger Things recently. I literally marathoned all 3 seasons of Stranger Things.
Ooh.
Oh, once. Wow, cool.
Yeah, it was I mean, it took me like a couple of days. I was writing a script, making a video. Okay, I need to take a break. Let me go watch 2 episodes of the Stranger Things, and literally within the course of 2 weeks or whatever, I watched all of Stranger Things, and then just to trying to catch up with all this stuff because there's so much geeky, nerdy stuff coming out.
Yeah.
There's anime. I watched when this whole lockdown happened. One of the first things I went out to do was to watch the original dub of Neon Genesis Evangelion.
When it came out on Netflix. Yep. Yeah, when it was on Netflix.
No, not the Netflix dub.
Oh, okay.
Because the Netflix dub actually cuts out the end theme song.
Oh, okay.
I didn't know that.
Every single episode of Neon Genesis Evangelion has a Japanese woman singing "Fly Me to the Moon." they couldn't secure the rights to the song in time for them to put it on Netflix.
Gotcha.
So they actually like made, like, they still have the same credits. It's still like this person upside down spinning or whatever. But they changed the song to some generic tune, and they also redubbed it. So I watched the original dub.
Okay.
Like the ADV dub. It came out in the 90s. I found able to find it. I watched, all 26 episodes and then the end of Evangelion movie. And it was like, it was like a surreal experience, let me tell you. Sitting there, marathoning that, like, it's like weird things are going through my mind after watching that, because like that thing was like a mind twister.
Oh yeah, it's way out there.
And then of course, like, I make some time to watch some Godzilla movies, because I did some Godzilla reviews on my second channel, and I'm like, I want to try and like finish my Godzilla reviews. I never went back to it because I went tunnel vision back into Transformers, which
gotcha.
Again, we're in a Transformers thing, and here I am going on a nerdy tangent.
No,
it's cool bringing up Godzilla. I do appreciate when there's other Godzilla content, because it was one of those things I remember watching back in the day and then kind of fell off the radar, more so than obviously Transformers and other things from when I was a kid. But once I started discovering, aside from all the other other Godzilla toys and things, it kind of, Transformers still is towards the top of the list, and Godzilla's not replacing it, but it's cool to have it around there, and I always like checking out things when they come out.
I have like all on DVD. I have like all 29, 30 films. Yeah, 30 films at this point, because Shin Godzilla.
Right.
So, I have all the Toho movies, and I have the American Zilla movie. And I have, I've seen. I also have on digital. I have the 2014 movie, and I saw theatrically King of the Monsters. When it came out, like opening night, I was like, I have to see this movie. Nice. It's King Ghidorah, it's Mothra, it's Rodan, so like I needed to see it. And like I watched the way that I saw Godzilla was I was introduced was I saw King Kong versus Godzilla on a TV program like in the late 80s. Then I think like 89 or 90, somewhere around there was a Godzilla-thon. And it was 8 Godzilla movies, 4 on Saturday and 4 on Sunday.
Yep, nice.
And so I ended up watching like 8 Showa movies in a row, basically on a weekend.
Nice.
And from there, I was a Godzilla fan. So,
right.
Getting everything from the NES game to finding out that there was still Japanese Godzilla movies being made after Godzilla in 1984. They just didn't release them in America.
Right.
Until around the time of the 98 Godzilla movie. And I think like then he fell off after Final Wars, when they finally like started like releasing everything. And then people were like, oh, they're going to bring Godzilla back. Are they going to bring Godzilla back? So when the 2014 movie came out, like everybody wanted it.
Right.
There's only 8 minutes of Godzilla.
Yeah.
But there was less footage of Godzilla in the 2014 movie than Godzilla's Revenge. I think Godzilla's Revenge has less Godzilla in it than the 2014 movie. I could be wrong. I didn't do the math. Don't quote me on that.
All right. We'll give you a pass on this one if it turns out otherwise.
Right. But I think like if you watch all of the Godzilla, the new Godzilla footage in Godzilla's Revenge. Yeah, but like Godzilla's Revenge, I think it was just like 2 minutes and 54 seconds worth of new Godzilla footage. A 90-minute movie.
Yeah, not really impressive. I mean, you'll take it, right? I mean, better to have it than not have it.
Yeah. So, like, that's things that people like. Well, Godzilla fans will complain about. There's not enough Godzilla in this movie.
Well, I mean, to circle it to Transformers, I think that's a similar complaint in many media where you can't get enough of the Cybertronians, not whoever the human companion is, that becomes the focal point across a number of different media or medias. I don't know.
Kobe.
Yeah, like if you look at Bumblebee, anyone I've talked to, it's always that 5 minutes that everyone talks about. It's not the rest of the movie.
Yeah. And the rest of the movie is actually a good
Mhm,
movie.
mhm.
Like, it's like, as far as like a single Transformer having an adventure,
Mm.
it's a decent movie. I mean, even the final battle, like, Dropkick and Shatter versus Bumblebee and Charlie, is actually a
Mhm.
really good, action, whole set piece. And then of course, like, to me, what wowed me in the theater, like, I was just like, yes, yes. I was like screaming at the top. Like, I wasn't screaming, but I was just like just loving every second of it.
Yeah.
Was Optimus in truck mode,
Mhm.
the Golden Gate Bridge, the trailer, the cab over truck on the Golden Gate Bridge, and I was like, yes, yes, yes. I didn't care if it was Camaro Bumblebee. It was Optimus.
Right.
It was P1 Optimus. I have waited 30-something years to see this on screen. We didn't see it in 2007. We're seeing it now. Like,
Finally
that's how
get
I
it.
felt. Yeah. So, like, the action sequence, of course, at the beginning of the Bumblebee movie, but in the Michael Bay films, you felt like there was no Transformers.
Mhm. Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Like, and even if they were there, like, how many Decepticons could you name? Like, unless you were a super fan like we are, we're analyzing. There's Grindor, there's Sideways, there's Scavenger, there's Bone Crusher. That is what they call. They never even named them on screen.
Right.
Right.
And only because we're fans, we know who they are.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of them boiled down to a mess of knives, essentially.
Yeah, like, they all look like mangled metal, and the action sequences are always in your face. So this is all you see. It's always worm's eye view. It's always from the person's foot's perspective. Like, you're looking up at the Transformers fighting, and all you see is mangled metal twisting around. Like, I want to see an action sequence. Like, I want to see two Transformers actually fighting. Like,
right. Just pan out a little bit so you can actually get the whole scope.
Right, and they roll around the floor. You can never make out what Transformer is who. And anyone who says otherwise, like, oh, you can't tell who's who, it's like, I'm a super fan. Of course I'm going to figure out who's who.
Yeah.
I'm going to watch the sequence 30 times, even if I don't like it, because I'm a Transformers fan.
And then
general audiences
exactly
think this is Transformers.
That's what I was about to say.
Yeah, like, general audiences, this is what they feel about Transformers. And then when you tell them that you like Transformers, they look at you and go, oh, those Michael Bay films?
Yeah, you get those a lot, unfortunately. Because it was so big in spite of itself, I guess, to a lot of extent, that is the reaction that often happens, unfortunately.
I mean, you can justify your love for Batman because there's a lot of good Batman films. There's 5 Michael Bay films, and only one of them was somewhat decent. Yeah, you can forgive some of the stuff happening in it.
Absolutely.
I recently was watching Dark of the Moon because I needed it for footage or whatever. I'm like, and this whole action sequence is like drawn out. Like, it feels like, where are the Transformers? Where are the Transformers? Like, the Autobots get captured, and you never see that happen. Oh, the Autobots are captured. They're going to kill us. When did that happen?
Right.
Well, how come we had to see this whole thing where they were going up the stairs and they ended up at the top of this building, and next thing you know, it's collapsing and they're falling, and then all of a sudden, like, they fall out the window. Like, it's so drawn out. I'm like, where are the Transformers?
Yeah.
None of the Decepticons are even remotely recognizable because they're all generic.
Yeah.
Like, all the Decepticons are generics.
It's definitely unfortunate.
Yeah,
you're not going to get a disagreement out of me because I basically have the same opinion, and it was disappointing. But like I said earlier, it did at least infuse a lot of green into the franchise to try and produce other avenues. So that is the way I console myself whenever I think about it, to be honest.
There's always a positive in any of these different Transformers, so you always can try to find some positive out of it, even if you don't like it.
Yes.
Those of us who don't like Michael Bay's films,
there might be a few of us. There's a few.
we So we don't. I don't hate fans who like Michael Bay's films.
Of
I
course.
just but the sentiment from them has been this: G1 was garbage anyway. The reason why you didn't get G1 at for 5 films is because G1 was garbage.
Mhm.
There's a reason why Michael Bay was a genius, because he didn't make G1 because the Transformers looked stupid. And you G1ers need to stop being fans. I'm not even kidding you. This is the sentiment I've been seeing. Some of the Facebook groups out there are anti G1 and anti G1 fans.
That's your first mistake. Facebook. But I say that all the time. Like, you just get rid of Facebook, and a lot of these problems, they're gone. I'm much happier.
Yeah. Well, the reason why I'm on a lot of these social groups is because I'm trying to find the pulse of the franchise.
Yeah. I'm making a joke, but I understand why you need to.
I hate Facebook, but I hate Twitter more. I think Twitter is a cesspool. So like I can't stand it, and I get a lot of ats and mentions from people on Twitter, and I'm just it's nothing to do with the people who are most of the people who I've interacted with, but the stuff I see, I'm just like, I stay away. I let me get back to my giant robots.
Yeah, the happy place, as it were.
Maybe that's why I'm such a hardcore G1er.
Because you get all those happy brain chemicals going from back in the day. Yeah, I can definitely see that the internet has its way with things, unfortunately. Mm-hmm. But Scott, let me drag you into this. I know you had a number of things. Was there anything that jumped out, either from what Rodimus Primal was saying, or any other questions you wanted to bring up?
So I assume it's just because of time, but like, how do you decide like which video you're going to make this week? Is it like, when am I going to do a review, or am I going to do one of my discussions, or am I going to do a character deep dive? Like, how do you, or do you have a bunch of stuff lined up and it's like when you can get to it and things like that?
Well, I mean, when I first started, I was like, I had some form of semblance of like, okay, I wanted to get to this one. Now it's like, who could I really like get a good script out of? Mm-hmm. Something like that works. And so it takes me 2-3 weeks sometimes to try and make a good video, like the Skylinks video. Was one of my last ones. Knew I wanted to do that character, and also some people recommend stuff. They say, "Hey, can you do a Skylinks video? Can you do a hoist video, or this character video, or Cliff Jumper, or Soundwave, or Megatron, or whatever the character is." Those are my main videos. The news videos I try to cover as the news comes out. Then like a toy review is because I do want to make more content. I don't want to just like leave people 2-3 weeks without a video, while I'm trying so hard to focus on something new. So I'm trying to make sure that I at least keep the content coming. At least a video is out once a week on YouTube. But as far as like what the next character is, and going by like my next Transformers discussion videos that I have set, like I have scripts for, or at least starting scripts for, is a matter of, can I get the information that I want and make a good script out of it, and does it need reworking? And like I spend so much time consuming and tweaking the script that it takes me a long time to make, and I have to think about like, what character could I do next that works. So like, I honestly, like, I'll give an example. Like,
so you're not just going down the list and hitting every single one, or is that a goal long term?
Well, long term, probably yes. I would love to get like every single like character and continuity and stuff. But one character I was thinking about doing recently was Prowl.
Okay.
And I wanted to go to Prowl first before I did like a character like Wheeljack. But with everything happening in the real world right now, put Prowl on the back burner.
That probably makes sense.
And yeah. And the quarantine thing happened. I did the Protectobots because what's happening in the world is like, need to give props to our first responders, you know.
Yeah.
So I did that as like for the Protectobots.
I
Like it was a
respect that.
great
That's-
character.
It's a good idea.
And Bumblebee movie stuff started happening about the Bumblebee movie. I was thinking about doing a Bumblebee video, and then that script ended up becoming my Cliffjumper video.
Okay.
So like usually it's like I'm trying to like figure out, okay, well, what's happening now? What are people really interested in? What can I make a good script about? Also, is like some people are requesting stuff. People ask me like, oh, hey, could you do a character? You know, do a video on this character. Can you do a video on that character? But
Gotcha.
I do all my own video editing, so it takes me forever. Do my own script writing.
I know that song. I've heard that song before.
I look at some content creators and they're able to put out like a video like I do in a week.
Mhm.
I'm like,
It's wild.
It's like unless you have like 4 or 5 people working behind the scenes, I don't know how you do it.
Yeah, doing it
That's
all
why
solo is tough. Yeah.
I know I'm trying to dragging it out, but like that's pretty much like why it takes me like where it takes me to making the next video. Next idea.
Right. An army of one
Are there
can
any-
only be expected to do so much. So
Are there any big discussions you're waiting on? You're waiting on doing? I think you've hit most of the big ones that I've ever thought about, but I didn't know if there was any like big ones you're still waiting on or anything like that.
All right, well, let's see. There's an Autobot who has these glowing things on the side of his head that I'd love to do. There is a I would love to dive into the I already did the Seekers in general. I would love to do specifically like Thundercracker and Skywarp.
Mhm.
Of course, you know who I was talking about with the glowy things on his side of his head, right? Yeah, Wheeljack, yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I had to because I love Wheeljack and he's a character I love doing. You know, would love to do. Thundercracker and Skywarp is another one. I want to actually kind of like cover like why like I've been trying to do my research and you can probably see this from like my interview with Flint Dilly. Was trying to figure out why the G1 cartoon came to an end. You know,
Okay.
I want to find out like what really killed the Sunbow shows. So that's something I've been trying to get research on, and I've been spending like a good year or so gathering information.
Wow.
Yeah. So like sometimes these scripts are like they take me a long time to get the information.
I would imagine.
Then when I finally get the information that I'm looking for, I can really dive in and make a script out of it. I'll write a script. I was thinking about doing something for G2, like why was G2 not so well received, and why did it just, fizzled when it came out? Like basically, even though there were a lot of good things that came out of Generation 2, which is why it's called why G1 is called G1 is because of G2.
Right.
So, I wanted to do more of the origin of the cartoon itself, but I think I need to probably get some information from some of the screenwriters. I was happy to talk to Flint Dilly. Now I need to try and get information from Bryce Malek and Doug Booth while they're still alive. So, those are the kind of things that like, it's kind of like an incubation period. I'm getting information. I want to talk about it. It's going to take me a while to get that information. But then I want to do some retrospectives of characters that even people don't talk about much, like Trax, or Sea Spray, or Warpath, or Beachcomber, or some other characters that like people just forget about, because get tossed by the wayside. But some people really love those characters, and if I was able to make a 10-minute discussion video instead of a 23-minute Galvatron video, it doesn't take me so long. Like Galvatron was a challenge. You saw my Galvatron video; it's 23 minutes long.
Yeah,
that one. I was even thinking about splitting that into 3 videos.
Wow. So
because it was just that much information. Like here's the G1 cartoon character. Here is the Marvel comic character. Like those were just. That information alone was a whole lot to talk about, because the Galvatron in the UK is huge.
Oh yeah,
Like my Megatron video was almost 20 minutes long. My RC video was like 20 minutes long. So like those are like huge characters.
Right.
If I'm able to do some of the lesser ones, I can probably put more content out. But I want to make sure that I get a good script. I don't want to sell the character short. Character like Wheeljack is going to take me a while. Thundercracker and Skywarp might take me a while.
Well, the love.
And then I did something fun like the Knight Rider video. I don't know if you saw that.
I didn't catch that one yet, so I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, it was what's it called? I did the Knight Rider intro with footage of Hot Rod.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
I used the sound effects. I didn't actually use the actual Knight Rider theme song, like the actual one. I used someone's cover. That I asked them if I could use it. I did the intro from season 2. So if you actually watch the intro of season 2 for Knight Rider, and then watch Prime Rider, a shadowy flight into a dangerous world of a transformer who does not exist.
That's awesome.
So, I used the turbine engine sound effects that kit uses, and the turbo boost sound effects, and the
nice.
So like I did that. I also did in the same way I did Springer as Airwolf.
Yeah, I showed them that when that first came out. Yeah, I remember that.
And then the Combaticons as
the A-Team, right?
A-Team.
Yep.
That I think I've seen. Yeah.
Yeah, but what I was even thinking about doing, and this would be really cool. Once I was thinking about doing a couple other like videos like that and compile them together into a Autobot chicken.
Oh yeah.
Do all of them in order, like the order that they came out, and do like all the clips of different TV show mentions that I've done in my Transformers videos.
That would be pretty cool. That would be pretty cool.
If you watch my Insecticons video, it's the creepy crawlers commercial.
Yeah.
Yep.
You watch what Transformers died in the
movie.
The movie. I did a jazz skit. Which, if you watch the ending to that, it has to do with the label on jazz.
Okay.
And so, like, I love the body upgrade and the new tattoo. Make the Autobots great again. Like,
I remember that one. Yeah.
And just to make fun of it, So just do clips like that, like add them into, like, make a whole video of just all of those TV show mentions in one video.
That would be, I think, like the super cut of that, I guess, if that's the appropriate term, would be pretty awesome.
Right. So that everybody can watch it all in one tandem.
Yeah.
Once I do some more of them, maybe I'll cut them all together. It's like a.
That sounds like a really good idea.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
It's just like something fun, because you know what it is. Because like you, if I just give you information and not something fun, you're gonna get bored. So
I mean, that's kind of why we're here with these things, right? Because it's supposed to be fun.
Right. Yeah,
exactly.
We're supposed to enjoy this stuff.
Exactly.
If you can't enjoy it,
what's the point?
Do something else.
Yeah, exactly. Well, gentlemen, we're actually teetering over around an hour at this stage. We'll see how long it ends up being after edits and stuff. But I didn't want to hold you on, Rodimus Primal. If you had a hard stop, you obviously have a lot of things that you have to tend to. But Scott, was there anything you wanted to finish up with?
I know there's some questions you guys wanted to ask me. If you want to like get them out real quick, and I'll answer them as I can if you want me to. Some of the questions I think you had.
Well, we also want to give you time to talk a little bit more about your channel and stuff too. So that's why I wanted to make sure we leave some room.
Yeah. I mean, my channel, of course, is Rodimus Primal. I do a lot of Transformers videos. I do news videos as well as like discussions. So I try to get like as much information about the Transformers franchise as I can. Sometimes I'm trying to answer a question that fans that have been arguing about for years. And some stuff that just people just, trying to connect the dots on, or it's just something simple about like what quirky thing about a character, like what is Skylinks, or who became Cyclonus, right?
Yeah.
What's the right color for Rumble, and how did the what happened to the Combaticons? Why did they get locked up? So that kind of stuff. Is all the kind of stuff I try to answer in my videos, but I also try to be as informative as I possibly can. Try to give you guys like a Cliff Notes version of maybe like a wiki page, So it's in a good format that gives you a lot of information all at once. So
Right. Yeah, there's definitely been a lot of effort on your part, as you were saying earlier, putting together all of these things. The amount of research that you've invested is impressive, I think, is the most appropriate word. There's a lot of other adjectives we could use, but I'm impressed with all the lengths you've gone to produce the content that you have.
okay, thank you.
But rather than me ramble on, because I will do that, Scott will tell you. Let me hand it back to Scott, because I know he's collating everything there.
It's okay.
No, I think we hit most of the. I think we hit most of the questions. I mean, like we said, I became a fan back again because of the trading card game. I'm not sure how familiar you are with it. That's what the primary focus of our channel, obviously, is. If you've checked it out, like the world champion is on our team, for example. So, if there's anything you ever want to know about that, just feel free to reach out to us, of course.
Yeah, I don't like, a lot of times I don't get a lot of opportunity to play very many games. Like, even like first of all, trading card games is kind of hard because most of my friends are not into Transformers.
Yeah, fair.
Well, yeah, because they're also not Transformers fans either, so that's probably why.
That's a double whammy there.
And also, like, right, so I'll end up playing a lot of retro games. Like, if you look behind me, I have my NES Classic, and I'm just playing a lot of like retro stuff.
Nice.
So, if I do get to game at all, it's mostly like older stuff.
That's fair.
Yeah, and so like I've seen the images; they look great. It's like a lot of people are like enjoying collecting it. I think it's cool that like people who are into like these card games. Like, my brother was big into Pokemon, so
so you got a taste of it.
Right, the only other game that like I got into at all, like as far as like collectible games, maybe might be like playing some D&D.
Seems good.
And which was really fun for talking to Flint Dilly about, like, because he like directly had influence on some D&D stuff.
That's awesome.
He was because he played D&D with Gary Gygax.
Oh, really?
Okay.
I didn't know that. Okay.
There are images of him at one of the one of Gygax's mansions, like with the big sand table full of miniatures. Like, it's kind of cool.
That's awesome.
Believe me, like the fact that we're all super nerds and we can get into this stuff and have an awesome time, it's awesome. So
absolutely.
Well, we don't live that far away, so we will definitely teach you the card game at some point. That'll be
if you want to have us.
Yeah, we're not we're only a couple hours away, I think, at most. So
yeah.
Yeah, I live in Jersey, like so I'm I can see the beach at any time within very short driving distance if I want to. So
we're outside of Philly, so we're not far at all. So
okay.
Yeah, with PAX Unplugged is like for us, and I know you've gone to some of the con. Like you went to a con really close to me. Like RetroCon is like really close. That's really close to where I live. So
okay. How is I'm actually thinking about like getting out of Jersey. So, but how is how I often ask, like, how is the areas out there and jobs and finding a place to live? But I mean, I'm almost so happy where we are, because like, getting all this stuff and packed up and to move out of Jersey would be a challenge. But
sounds awesome until you
I've been to
boxes.
RetroCon. Right, and then I also been to Too Many Games convention, which is in the same convention hall.
Oh, okay. It's in Oaks also. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but that's where all the video game go
okay.
to, like Cinemassacre and RGT 85 and Game Chasers and stuff like that. They all go to that convention, and the retro stuff is what I'm into. So like I'll go to RetroCon or New York Comic Con or have you or the New Jersey Collectors Convention in Cherry Hill. I don't know if
I've gone to those in the past. Yeah,
the game store we go to is like right there, so we've definitely been there as well. Mm-hmm. That's our like home base game store that we go to. So
right.
Yeah.
That well, there's a couple of them in that neighborhood.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's not far from there. So
neat. Cherry Hill is kind of big in that.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're pretty fortunate there.
Mhm.
Well, Scott, unless you say otherwise, I think that kind of closes it up on our end.
No, I really appreciate it. Like I said, like when I got into the card game, a lot of the I don't remember exactly how I even found your channel, like with one specific video, but like I just the fact that you have these discussions and to me it just takes the fandom and the medium seriously, that you're even able to have these conversations like with people, because like they don't get that they're like a property like this could even have this type of like internal controversy or this kind of like in-depth discussion, because it's quote not real. And I really enjoy that. Like, I really enjoy it. Like for me, that what stood out, like besides Cyclonus, was like the Ultra Magnus video, which I never even thought about. Like the those are the Constructicons, like their different origins throughout the thing. Like I thought that all that stuff was just like really interesting to me, because it's in other videos I see, it's like, here's the swath of the characters throughout the entire scope of the fandom, and like you're centering it so much on like one niche part, and there's so much to look at in just that one niche part, that I just find that to be like really interesting, that you're able to get such in-depth interesting content to me out of like a few seconds of screen time, and like to take it that seriously and to then research it. I just want to say thanks, because I just find that stuff to be very interesting.
Let me just ask you this question, and just from my own
Yeah.
producing content and stuff like that. Do you prefer that if I were to? I do a lot of times when I do retrospectives, especially on bigger characters, end up being 20 minutes long.
Yeah.
Do you prefer that I try and bring it down to just one specific universe of a character? Because a lot of time I'll end up staying in G1 if that's the case. So that's why I spend so much time, because I want to make sure that people understand, like, oh, hey, Smokescreen is not the Smokescreen, or this character is not this character,
Right.
So,
I mean, the length doesn't matter to me, honestly, because I'll watch it the whole way through. Like I'm not like, it doesn't bother me. I guess what's most important to me is like just hitting those G1 references. Like, if it happens in the new show that comes out, like, which is clearly a G1 influenced show or something like that, or what's new. Like, I guess to me, like, I don't really care about like how the character was in Armada, because I don't see myself going back and watching that anytime soon. But I know I'm in the minority for a lot of that stuff. So like
Right.
I don't care about what the representation was in Beast Wars. But I did find like your Starscream's Ghost one to be very interesting, because I never even knew, because I didn't watch Beast Wars, I never even knew that was a part of it, for example. So
Yeah.
I definitely learned things that I didn't know when you do cover some of that more niche stuff that I don't know about. But yeah, the length of it doesn't matter as much to me. But I do find the controversial discussions like to be really interesting. Like to me, like the biggest topics I want to see people cover are like the Primus or Unicron, like these big things is what I'd like to see, because I just find that to be like really interesting. I always found that stuff to be interesting.
I have a Primus and the Quintessons video that I actually want to go back and redo, because that one is like, it's rough.
Okay.
And it's not. I feel it's unfinished.
Gotcha.
And that's because there was so much information, and the fact that like the origin of the Quintessons and Primus and all that has been expanded upon is like, it's now to a point where not only do I need to redo it, but then I need to do a 13 episode, the 13 original Transformers, and then covering the origins of the Transformers. And some people might not be as interested in that. Like you and I would be. You would be. Some people might be like, I like that stuff, but I want to know more about Optimus Prime. Like, so like, and so, I did a video on Astro Train. And I went on a whole tangent on Apollo 13. But I needed to do that because if I didn't explain that, it wouldn't have made sense to why I was like, for one little line of medicine some weight or I'll never make it back to Cybertron. And Astro Train is also a character that has not appeared in other continuities much, if at all. So he's a character that if you're going to focus on him, focus on him.
Right.
Like you said, Starscream's Ghosts. I could literally talk about this stuff all day. So if you guys don't mind me talking about this stuff all day, like a character like Dion, I had to make sure that it, like,
Right.
all right, we're going into Optimus Prime's origin here. So please, like, I'm going to explain Optimus Prime's origin. Then here's who Dion was. He was just some random dude. Did he become somebody? He became Ultra Magnus. Like, that was something that was like kind of neat, but I had to cover it in such a expanded way. But I think that by doing that, you give the audience, a lot of people who are Transformers fans, of just, some people might just be Transformers fans from starting from Cyberverse or from Prime or from animated. So I feel like that going back into that stuff and really expanding upon like what makes these characters special throughout years is important. Even my Bumblebee video, you know, like, there's a character that was just a lot of yellow.
Yeah.
But my biggest complaint out of his character was the fact they made him mute. You know, and I like Dan Gilbazan's, you know, Bumblebee. So, you know, I want to hear more of that style of Bumblebee.
Right.
I think Jeremy Levy has done a good job. You guys feel about Jeremy Levy, but
yeah, from what I've seen, yeah.
You know, he's done a pretty good Bumblebee voice. As far as the modern take, but fans are more fans of the fact that he talks to the radio, and that's because they started with Michael Bay's films.
Right.
You know, or I'll complain about, not really complain, but like, I'll talk about how Soundwave, his alt mode is
outdated
old technology.
Yes.
Really old technology.
Yeah.
And so how do you update him? You make him relevant in the 21st century without making him look so radically different from who he was, you know, like they did in Prime. Like,
it is a tall ask.
I
said it's a tall ask. Yeah.
Keep him. You know, maybe making him a. You know, my idea is trying to make him like a news van. Have like the satellite on top of it, and then like maybe the satellite transforms into Laserbeak, and you know, one of the camera crew comes out and it's Rumble and Frenzy.
Yeah. That would actually be hilarious.
Yeah, like have them come out with a camera or whatever and be like...
That's actually a cool idea. I like that.
Yeah, like come up with creative ideas to make it work. I mean, like I know a lot of people don't like this right here. You know, Megatron as transforms into a gun that Starscream can hold. But to me, that's Megatron. You know, why would Megatron turn into a gun? And not just from the fact that they just used the toy, not just the fact that like, you know, like nowadays everybody complains that, you know, toy guns and stuff. But why would Megatron turn into a gun, you know, in fiction? So, you know, the video that I've done and discussion that, you know, people will say like he should have never turned into a gun. It was the stupidest idea. You know, and it's like, well, when were you become a fan? Well, I started watching Michael Bay. Okay. Or I started watching Transformers Armada. You know, but like to me, like I sit there and go, if he turns into a gun that the Decepticons can hold, he is yielding his power to someone else. That other Decepticon goes, I now have the ultimate power by having this gun in my... They become powerful. You know, it's very much like He-Man. I have the power, you know, taking up the sword. Thundercats. Oh, right. That holding up that weapon like you're this mighty valiant warrior. So Megatron turns into a gun that you can hold. You now have that power. And Megatron is yielding that power to you, but in reality, he controls you. So what he's literally doing is brainwashing his troops by yielding his power to them.
Interesting.
So think about it mentally and go, it's mental gymnastics if you think about it, it's psychology. But it's a psychological idea of this tyrannical leader but he needs an army, and he needs an army that's loyal to him. You know, and that army will, even because the Decepticons are a cryptocracy, which means they will, whoever's the strongest will lead. well, now you become the strongest because you're trusted to hold Megatron in gun mode.
Mhm. Yeah.
So it goes mentally to their own mindset of why Megatron becoming a gun is so relevant to them, why they will follow Megatron to the ends of the earth or the ends of the galaxy. You know, because they will follow the one who yielded his power to them. And when you really think about that psychologically, you go, him becoming a gun makes a lot more sense.
Yeah.
And us on the surface looking at it like it's stupid because it's mass shifting, or it's stupid because who would go out and play with a toy gun? Because really, that was at the end of the day what it was, is like it's a toy gun, right?
Mm-hmm.
So,
of course.
But I don't know what your guys' thoughts on that. I always that's like one of the things like that I've talked about like for a long time with Megatron and gun mode.
No, that was
go ahead,
good.
Scott.
No, I thought that was a good take on it. That's the type of thing that I really enjoy talking about and thinking about.
And sorry if I just went on a complete tangent and ramble because
that was actually like I want to digest that for a while. I guess is the way I'll put it. I got to think about that's a really cool take on Megatron's original mode. That's actually really cool. I know that sounds superfluous and that means nothing, but I want to percolate that a little bit.
yeah, because when you really, really think about it, you're like, why would the Decepticons follow a leader who gives his power to them? Well,
right.
Because their whole idea is might makes right. So I now have Starscream, when he takes Megatron in gun mode, I now have the ultimate power in the universe. I'm going to turn the Autobots into atomic particles, right? That's Starscream feels invincible by holding Megatron in gun mode.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Even though he wants to usurp Megatron.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I honestly think that because Megatron became a gun, that's why Starscream's own personality get into that to the point of I should lead.
Yeah. I can see
because,
that. I can see the through line between those ideas. That's pretty
exactly
cool.
it's literally that's why Starscream became so obsessed with taking over, is because now he was granted the ultimate power. Now he wants that ultimate power for himself. Megatron has that ultimate power, and he lends you that ultimate power.
Yeah.
So, which is why Starscream gaining the power of the underbase in the comics is so, important, because it's like he gains this super power that it becomes can't control. So, that's where the idea of Megatron in gun mode makes a lot of sense. Him becoming a tank is fine, I'm cool with that. I'm all right with the idea of him becoming a tank in modern day, because people can't sit still with the or can't digest the idea of Megatron becoming a gun anymore. Or current gun laws don't allow you to be able to have Megatron as a toy.
Yeah. There's certain areas where that is a problem.
Like I said, I can talk about this stuff literally all day long, all night, and
well,
go on and on.
We can probably pick one of these up because we'd definitely love to have you back on the show in the future. It was definitely a pleasure having you. Is there, just to repeat everything one more time at the end, Rodimus Primals find you everywhere? Where can people find all of your content?
Most of my actual videos are on YouTube. You can follow me on Facebook. You can follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and my Facebook is probably where I post a lot of stuff. But Twitter is I will respond, and Instagram I'll post cool pictures of my toys doing something fun. I of course I have my crowdfunding stuff through Patreon. Yep. I also have a Teespring store, and pretty much as far as I think is I have a Twitch channel, but I'm rarely on Twitch.
It's like us.
Yeah, just you know, because you got to spend like 3-4 hours playing a game, but
Yeah.
in order to like make something out of it. But like, I just think, yeah, like YouTube is pretty much like where my content is mostly found. But you can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Awesome.
Great.
Well, we'll definitely have links to your stuff in the description below this video, but we really do appreciate you coming on. This is really fun talking to you. I'm looking forward to diving into some more of the videos. It was just really cool.
Thanks.
Thank you very much.
So to everybody, go ahead.
You want me to sign you guys out?
Sure.
You want me to do?
All right, yeah, I'll hand it off. Go ahead.
So make sure you're subscribed to this channel as well as my own. And as always, guys, until next time, till all are one.
Thanks.